Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. About 4 months ago, I made a video about making art when you're depressed, and I have been wanting to do one about my anxiety for a little while now, and I hadn't made it because I wasn't quite sure how to relay all the information and have some sort of positive message and takeaway from it. I think I just needed to get to a point with my current anxiety for me to realize that there isn't really an easy way for me to talk about this topic. And I can go a lot of different routes with explaining how I experience anxiety, and even from the psychological, physiological perspective and various things like that. But for the purposes of today's video, I wanted to just kind of come on here and sort of update you a little bit about where I have been recently and in general how I experience anxiety, but it's gonna be pretty all over the place. And that's what I've realized is when I did my video about depression, for some reason, I guess depression hits me so hard in a different way. It's fairly easy for me to be able to sort of describe it to you, and it's become exceedingly easier for me to understand when I am in a depressive state. And so when I was going through that depression a little while back, it was easier for me to describe what was going on while I was in it. Now, again, like that video, I am going through anxiety now and am wanting to talk about it while it is fresh and while I am currently going through it, because I feel like that's actually exceedingly more helpful to hear from someone who is currently going through it, because especially knowing myself, I tend to try to put a positive light on things, and that can sometimes diminish what my experience is or was, and I'm not intentionally kind of keeping the truth from you or myself, but that's just kind of how I am. I try to be, I try to reframe things into positives and learning lessons and things like that. And it's been really hard for me to sit down and talk about this, because anxiety is one of those things that while I have moments in my life where it is heightened, like the last few weeks, really most of July, for being honest, I also have anxiety chronically throughout my entire life. And it is something that it took a little while for me to realize that that's the name for it, and that was what I was experiencing, because it is so ingrained in my experience as a human. And I didn't realize that that was not necessarily healthy and not necessarily the typical experience. Although I will say many more, I feel, experience anxiety nowadays due to society and all sorts of different things. But I have come to realize that anxiety is, for me, very multifaceted, a little bit of a mystery at times, and is fairly ingrained in my life. And that's hard to accept. I don't know if accept is the right word. Hard to live with and figure out how to keep going. And so today I wanted to talk more about this and kind of flesh it out with you, but like I was sort of alluding to, it is not something that is easily described, and so this video is maybe gonna be a little all over the place. Before I get too much farther into what we're talking about, even though I've been talking for a little while, I did want to mention I am in the video working on a little beluga whale with some watercolors that were sent to me recently that you might have seen in my recent haul, the Jane Davenport watercolors. And I do want to use this set as more of a laid back, fun personal art experimentation kind of set. I did want to mention that links will be down below for the supplies I'm using, but I went in a fairly different direction color-wise with this piece. I did use a lot of yellows and oranges, and I mean I use pink a lot, but really wanted to make him very warm. And I don't particularly love how he turned out. I liked the idea. He is this beluga whale. I picked a beluga because I'm a part of a stream team over on Twitch where we highlight an animal every month, and this was my beluga entry, even though I did not actually submit it. But I work on it on stream, and I wanted to do something a little bit different, so I used different color scheme, and I put coral and sort of undersea plant life, but mostly coral, inside the sort of silhouette of the beluga. While I like the concept, and someone mentioned that this kind of looks like he has a Hawaiian tropical outfit on, which is funny because they're Arctic animals. I thought that was clever and kind of funny and unintended originally. I don't love the colors, and I feel like the design on the inside ends up being quite chaotic, I guess, and hard for me to sort of look at because maybe it's the colors, maybe it's how I drew it, but it just felt very messy and complicated. And the more I thought about releasing this video and not really knowing what I wanted to do with the footage, and the more I've realized that my anxiety is very much like how I feel about this painting. Even though I do like it to some degree, I like aspects of this painting and I like what I learned from it, and I don't mind selling the original if someone is interested in it, whereas other pieces I just wouldn't if I wasn't proud of them in some degree. The way this sort of makes me feel, and the process of going through painting this and my feelings during and after I finished painting it remind me of my anxiety. That is what I figured would be great to talk about for this video. As you can tell, I'm laughing a lot because I'm pretty uncomfortable. I have more energy than I would when, if you saw my depression related video. I definitely am a lot lower energy there, but my anxiety does affect my energy levels. Yeah, I figured I would sort of just get through this, and unfortunately there isn't going to be a super great storytelling beginning, middle, and end to this video. It's probably going to be a little uncomfortable to maybe watch, so I'm sorry if it's triggering for someone or if it's hard to listen to, but I think it's important for me to explain that this is where I'm at and talk to you guys about that, because I do value mental health issues and trying to get away from stigmatizing things. But it is pretty hard for me to record this, and I'm not exactly sure what direction to go in, but that is true to what I'm experiencing. So I want to be real with you guys. That's really important for my channel here and for my brand, I guess. And I thought I would talk a little bit about how I experience anxiety, because I think it can be pretty different for different people. I'm still not exactly sure if everything I am experiencing is coming from anxiety, if there's other things going on. I have seen multiple therapists for various things, and I'm considering seeing a therapist in the near future if I continue having a pretty difficult time. So I'm actually recording this on International Self-Care Day, And I'm pretty bad about keeping up with, you know, holidays. I mean, there's like millions of them, so I don't know how people do it. But Twitter helped me remember that it's International Self-Care Day, apparently, which I did actually do a video last year, which I can link above here if you're interested in seeing that and me talking about self-care. And I realized that I'm one of those people that I care so much about helping others. And it's often at the expense of my own happiness or my own well-being, which is something I have worked on a lot with my psychology education. To become a therapist, obviously you need to learn how to handle that. We're not perfect, but I do realize I do that, and so I often talk a lot about self-care, and I'm not completely disregarding my own self-care, but I know I can do more, and I often don't. So, since it is International Self-Care Day, which is super perfect because I decided I was going to record this last night and didn't know it was International Self-Care Day, I had decided that the end of this week, so I'm recording this on Tuesday, which is when International Self-Care Day was. You're seeing this on Friday, but I have decided today, when I'm recording this, that I am planning on taking a little hiatus, vacation, whatever you want to call it, from social media and things work-related. The end of this week, so starting Thursday through the beginning of next week till Tuesday. I often try to give myself a bit of a break when I'm not feeling well, or if I'm at the breaking point of burnout or things like that. I have been better about understanding when I'm to that point. I haven't been the best about acting on that to remedy it. And for the last few weeks, I've been in this place where I'm trying to sort of rest and take care of myself while also kind of working. And I think what I end up doing is feeling bad because I didn't fully commit to taking care of myself, and feeling bad about not fully committing to working and doing as much as I could or want to be doing, being self-employed. And so I want to fully take time off, which means I will likely not be here on YouTube answering comments. I might not even watch YouTube videos to relax or what have you. The reality is I don't know what I'm gonna do with that time. I just know I need a detox from things. That means I won't be posting on Instagram, probably won't be posting on Twitter. I will sort of be unplugging to some degree. You might see me here and there, but I'm gonna try really hard to fully unplug from anything work related. So I guess there is a bit of a happy ending. I do want to work on recognizing and actually taking time for myself. The hardest part is actually doing it. Giving myself permission to take the time I need is hard. I'm not really sure what else I want to talk about today, and this video is getting a little long anyway. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know how you're dealing with your own anxiety if you deal with something similar. I would love to come back after my little hiatus and continue the conversation there. Like I mentioned, I will be talking about this subject more in the future, so make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications if you want to hear more about this. I guess that's all I have to say in this week's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, I hope you have a creatively fulfilled day, and I will see you next time. Bye guys!